Live from Paradise Studios in Massapequa, New York, it's Unger the Radar, starring Randy Unger. Brought to you by Magnitude Jewelry. Add a 2 to match your attitude. Tonight, Randy will be reviewing the new film Death Note, Knuckleball, and The Battle of the Bulge, Wonderland, with special guest critics Matt Haberman and Robin Channing. Randy will also be interviewing actor and martial artist David Sakurai of the new horror thriller Housewife. And now, here's your host, Randy Unger.
Hey guys, welcome to Unger the Radar. I'm your host, Randy Unger, where we talk all things film. And I want to welcome two very special guests today. We've got Mr. Robin Channing.
Hello, pleasure as always.
Yes, first time at Strong Island Radio and TV.
Yes, I'm liking this place. It's so cool.
It's cool, right?
What's Strong Island?
Strong Island Radio and TV.
I almost thought Strong Arm, but Strong Island. I like the name more.
Yes, welcome.
Wow.
And Mr. Matt Haberman, hello.
Hello, happy to be here.
Yeah, welcome back, guys. So, how's it going? First off, Robin. It's
So
been
far,
a while.
Yeah, it has been a while. I just got back from a job in Bangkok, Thailand. I was assistant stage manager for a show called the International Magician Society Presents The Magnificent Seven.
Cool.
So, wow, that was a lot of work.
I can imagine.
Yeah. Check out the pictures on my Facebook, by the way. I have yet to put them on my Instagram, but all things in due time.
Nice.
All right.
And Matt, what's going on with you?
Oh, not much. We'll be developing a special project, which I hope to talk about it later with you.
Yes, very special. We're in the very early stages of something really big. But we'll get to that later on at a later date.
You got me curious.
I know, yeah.
You're sparking my curiosity. I'd like to know what the skinny of that is.
There's a potential for an endeavor with another show.
Really?
Possibly, yes.
Okay.
We're talking about it.
Uh-huh.
But yeah, we'll get to that at a later time.
All right.
But first, guys, we've got 3 movies to review.
All right.
2 of which were kind of torturous. One of them was actually referred to us by you.
Yay. And yeah, I'm going to hold off on the surprise for a little.
Yes. So the first movie, it's on Netflix right now. It's called Death Note, and it's based off of a Japanese manga, which was later turned into a Japanese film in its own right. Basically, it stars a young high school student who comes across a mysterious book that when you write someone's name in it, they die. And yeah, I think you have a little prop, from the movie. Mm-hmm.
I've been a fan for years.
Yeah.
Yeah, I read the manga, I followed the anime, I have all 37 episodes on my devices thanks to iTunes.
Oh my.
I've got the DVDs, I've got the Blu-rays. I also watched the Japanese movies that were made, like the paired live action movies.
Okay.
And now this American interpretation of Death Note.
Yes.
Which I'm kind of hoping won't be the last, but I might be of the minority opinion here.
So this was just like the first entry in this franchise?
I suspect as much because they obviously left room for sequels.
Okay,
I did see that they have, and it would be interesting. I was like, I wonder what's going to happen next.
Yeah, right?
Yeah, it was cool. Very dark, it's actually kind of funny too. And
well, yeah, it had its humorous moments.
Yeah.
Serious humor, I would think.
Right, dark humor.
Yeah.
And it stars Nat Wolff, who has been in some stuff. I actually remember him from a movie starring Jonah Hill in 2011 called The Sitter. Mm-hmm. He had a small part in that. He was very young. He was like 12 or something. Mm-hmm. And now he's in this. He's alongside Lakeith Stanfield, who was in Get Out, Sorry to Bother You. This guy is blowing up. He's a great actor. He plays an FBI profiler in this, and he was hot on the tail of Light Turner, the main guy who finds the Death Note, and insanity ensues.
Oh, yeah, right.
Yeah. So what drew you to suggesting this movie?
Well, it is, on the one end, you asked, hey, Robin, you've recommended movies in the past.
Yeah.
What do you recommend this time?
Right.
And this was the first item that came to my mind. I'm thinking, this would be such an interesting entry into Unger the Radar. There you go, mentioning the name of the show.
Name drop.
All right, name drop. And, it's such a different kind of movie that I'm sure you're not exactly used to it, and I'm thinking let's broaden our cinematic horizons.
Yeah.
You know, and
It's different for sure.
and yes, admittedly, it was a selfish interest because I'm such a huge Death Note fan. It's like, of the two anime that are in my absolute top tier that I would recommend to anybody universally or laterally, Death Note is one of them. The other one is a little piece called Steins Gate. I love that one also to death.
Steins Gate.
Yeah.
Okay.
And if there's a self-contained live-action movie, I will be the first to let you know about it.
Please do.
All right, but in the meantime, enjoy the series. Steins Gate had aired back in like 2010, 2011
Okay.
as a 24-episode anime. An animated movie was a spin-off came out of that. And just recently, Steins Gate Zero, which is sort of a sequel spin-off anime of 23 episodes, just wrapped up a few days ago.
All right.
So, yes, I'm a huge fan of that. But anyway, I digress.
Yeah.
Death Note. Shall we get on with that? Or?
Yeah, I mean, I really liked it. It was a perfect blend of horror, drama, romance, comedy.
Uh-huh.
And yeah, it spanned a bunch of different genres. I love the acting from Lakeith Stanfield. He was great. Nat Wolff, also very good. And the lead, the young lady who played the love interest, she was okay too.
Yeah.
So yeah, overall, great acting, good production value. I could have definitely seen this being released in theaters. But Matt, what do you think?
I really like the story of it. I really liked. I mean, there has been movies about. There was one, Devil's Diary, back.
Oh.
Just about writing about fate of people and how they die. But this one is kind of interesting. I liked how that they want to use the book for good intentions to be at the
Killing criminals first off. Yeah.
So it seemed that was a great way for it to be. And then you get all these twists and turns in it. And it's just like, wow.
I know, right?
It was cool. Good recommendation. And I know the last movie you recommended was also Asian in origin. Cook Up a Storm.
Yeah, right. Yeah, all right. That was a very well, not just Asian origin. That was actually quite simply an Asian movie,
Yeah,
a Chinese
yeah.
movie in this case.
Good though.
Maybe in a future episode we could just do like the Japanese Death Note movies. Maybe.
Okay, maybe.
As a maybe.
Yeah. I like that.
So that you can compare and
Yeah.
contrast. Right. So, Under the Radar is like specifically about movies, so let's just keep things within that ballpark.
Thank you.
But as far as the Death Note, now bear in mind, I will come forth and say I am a huge Death Note fan. If I haven't said so already, I actually did. But anyway, I just want to reiterate the point. I'm a huge Death Note fan, and there has actually been a lot of hate directed towards the Netflix Death Note movie.
really?
Because that's not Light Yagami. That's he's such a wimp, and it's the girl who goes on the murderous rampage. He's the one with the evil. I'm like, people, hold your proverbial horses, because of course it's not Light Yagami, as in the classic Death Note story. This is Light Turner, separate story, who just so happens to share the same name, Light. Okay, leave it at that. It's a different interpretation of the concept.
Okay.
So suspend not only disbelief, but suspend the hate. All right, because it's a different interpretation. It's a different narrative. It's a different take on the Death Note mythos, and me personally, I welcomed it.
But there's different chapters, different entries in the series.
Right.
Yeah.
And the way this interpretation panned out, I actually liked it. I liked that Light Turner pretty much stayed a good guy throughout, and it was the love interest who decides to take a more evil turn.
Yeah.
She was much more devious. She was very much corrupted
Right.
by the Death Note itself, like the influence of it and so forth.
And Ryuk.
Ryuk. Yeah.
The death god who basically advises Light Turner in his crusade, I guess.
Yeah, he was this version of Ryuk, voiced by Willem Dafoe, by the
Awesome.
way.
Perfect.
Who did an excellent job.
Yeah.
He was more, let's just play this devilish game with this supernatural notebook, The notebook itself is not evil, it's what people do with it. It's the people themselves that use it.
Right.
And also, this version of L, I don't mind at all.
Oh, there was another version of.
The original version of L from the manga and so forth is a really freaky character, but this Americanized, if you will, version of L, I like this take on it. I'm not going to say which was superior, which was better, it's not about that. It's about, do I like this interpretation or not?
Okay.
All right. So I just
He was very eccentric, very weird.
Yeah, very eccentric. I just for the way that he was, the candy, giving the ice cream to, it's just like, what's his obsession about candy?
Well, the candy had like a special chemical in it to keep him awake, right?
Or just the simple sugars on it, because the original version of L was also a sweet freak, constantly snacking on sweets, candies, ice cream, and so forth, because the sugars in them kept his overactive brain running.
Right. And he would never sleep, really.
And he would sit in this really odd position.
Right.
In fact, he explains in the original Japanese that if he sits in it, his brain capacity increases by like 40%. Or if he doesn't sit in that position, his brain capacity drops by about 40% or something like that. He goes into all these numbers and so forth. So, yeah, a highly eccentric character. If nothing else, I like that the eccentricity was retained. So, yeah, I am sort of a Death Note historian when it comes to this, so that's why I bring that perspective to it.
I think they could have had an entire movie just based off of L's history, his origin himself.
Funny you should mention that, because in Japan there was a spin-off movie for L.
Okay.
Yeah, so
That sounds good.
Because the L character was just so engaging.
Yeah.
He went into like a special detective school or something.
He was at the age 6. He like started his training as a profiler, FBI profiler. It's pretty crazy.
And so, yeah, like I said, the Americanized version of it, the Americanized takes on this version of L, like I said, I don't mean to sound like a broken record, but yeah, I don't mind at all. As a matter of fact, I think it's an interesting take. So that's my, summary.
Very nice.
All right.
Matt, final thoughts on Death Note?
I enjoyed it. It gives that horror yet thriller and suspense all in one.
Right.
And I really hope that they continue it with a couple more movies, because I would like to see how this story winds up.
Yeah, me too.
It's not over.
And that's another thing, I forgot to add this, yeah. You see, Death Note on the surface looks like a horror movie of sorts, but you know what? In reality, it's horror on the surface, but in reality, it's more psychological suspense, because there's a whole lot of really intricate mind games.
Yeah.
Mind games, manipulation. It's a very cerebral story.
Right.
And I like that aspect was intact in the American version.
For Kira.
Yeah, Kira.
Kira, yeah.
Yeah, Japanese pronunciation of killer.
It's great.
Yeah, So yeah, so just bear that in mind. So don't walk into Death Note thinking that it's a horror movie. No, on the surface it's that, but beneath the surface it's in your face. It is psychological mind games.
Yeah.
So
It's different. Definitely a unique movie, and I'm really grateful that you suggested it.
yeah, you're very welcome.
Cool. All right, guys. So next up, we've got 2 more. These were screening links. These weren't the best movies, but they came our way. Knuckleball. We've got. This is basically a thriller about a young kid who is thrown into this horrific situation after his parents leave him with the grandfather, who passes away. And then a deranged neighbor basically comes by and starts hunting this kid for, I don't even remember the reason why.
Oh, I do.
You do? Yeah. It just seemed like, okay, let's start chasing this kid.
At least we're keeping consistent with the concept of thrillers.
Yes.
in this edition.
Matt.
At first, you hear knuckleball. At first, I thought it was a baseball movie. Although there is some...
There are baseball elements,
there is
yes.
A baseball scene where the grandfather is like pitching at him, and he's
and that becomes sort of a plot device of sorts.
Indeed.
There was a baseball bat later in the movie, so it rounds out the metaphor.
True.
Apparently, I think for what it is, the parents they drop him off. I think they go to a funeral. It was a funeral.
Oh,
but
was it? Yeah.
So of course, we'll spend time with his grandfather, and even though their family is not really close to him.
Yeah.
And it is supposed to that he was supposed to, in that, they had a very nice time with his grandfather doing the work and everything. They got along.
Yeah, they were starting to bond in a way, but then he just doesn't.
He was
work
a tough guy. I mean, Michael Ironside was
I
a good
love Michael Ironside, all the way back from Scanners Total Recall. This guy's a B-movie legend. And
Let's not forget Top Gun.
Top Gun, of course.
right.
Starship Troopers.
And also X-Men First Class. He was what, a naval captain?
He was in that too?
He was a naval captain. Yeah,
Yeah.
he had
Cool,
he had a very short role in that.
All right. Yeah.
During the Cuban Missile Crisis scene.
Okay. He's a great actor. I love him.
Yeah.
He's sort of like a B-movie version of Jack Nicholson, I'd say.
Well, yeah, I can see qualities of that,
Yeah.
but I like that gruffness, that kind of really hard-nosed sort of, that really tough demeanor
Tough
of
old
him.
guy, you know.
Yeah, it's like he is a tough mother trucker.
His name basically says Michael Ironside. Like
Yeah, yeah. Ironside, yeah, as the name implies, you
Yes.
know, right? Right? He lives up to it.
Yeah.
And as far as this movie, I was not a fan actually of Knuckleball. I can appreciate elements of it. It didn't really the whole movie actually didn't fly with me. As a matter of fact, I was like, oh, this is really not doing it for me.
Yeah.
It really didn't work.
It was a
for me.
little dull in some parts.
And also, I get that they wanted to set up the whole disturbing events to come, and they set that up
Yeah.
very blatantly and even obviously from the very beginning.
And the neighbor, played by Monroe Chambers.
Yeah.
It was okay casting in that part.
Oh,
Yeah.
it was good casting in that part.
And-
But
and-
even how he was
Yeah.
in the movie, and he turns out to be.
No spoilers.
I'm not
Okay.
All right, but just in the way how it all went down, like, there was like those certain twists that I just figured out.
Yeah.
I was like, okay.
It was a little predictable in some parts.
Yeah,
Too.
it was like there's only so much foreshadowing you can do before it becomes obvious.
Right. Yeah.
Right. And I get they wanted to set it up such that they will eliminate the whole yanking the carpet out from underneath you element. They wanted to reduce that. They wanted to make, I get maybe that's what the writer-director had in mind,
Yeah.
writer or director. So, because I'll just a slight swear, they wanted to avoid an ass pull.
Uh-huh.
And I think I'm now realizing that they wanted to avoid ass pulls so much that they needed to pre-establish
Wait, can you
everything.
define asspole? Asspole? I've never
Like-
heard that term before.
Like, you could almost relate it to Deus Ex Machina kind of a thing, where an event just so outlandish just happens just to flip around the story, kind of.
Alright.
So it's like, okay, this neighbor is a psycho, or they just didn't want anything to come completely out of the blue, or to borrow a baseball metaphor, to come out of left field.
Oh.
Right?
Nicely done.
All right,
Nicely done.
To bring it home. Again, bring it home. All
I would
right.
just think, because like, oh, this is going to be a baseball movie. But then when I'm hearing like the music and everything,
Yeah.
this does not look like it's going to be a baseball
And
movie.
it's kind of like wintry right now, so there's no field in sight. They're not going to be playing a game in the snow, I don't think. So yeah, it definitely.
If nothing else, it strikes the curiosity. Okay, it's called Knuckleball. There's some baseball elements here,
Right.
but what is it really about? And the fact that they set the tone that it's going to be creepy as all hell, that really.
In the
sets it
theory,
up.
they threw a knuckleball at you for this film. So that's why it's called Knuckleball.
Yeah, right.
Nice.
So the whole thing is just an entire, as you said, the whole thing was a knuckleball.
Yeah.
So yeah. But yeah, so yeah, I'm not a fan, but I get the sense that they really wanted to avoid a whole Deus Ex Machina or ass pull from this by establishing everything in advance. So, but I think that went a little too far because since everything was so pre-established, there was really no surprise at all.
The script needed more tightening. It needed better editing. The direction needed to be a little tighter as well. If they benefit from those two elements, then I think this movie could have been a little bit better.
Yeah, and that much foreshadowing was just unnecessary because
Yeah.
it just made everything way too predictable.
Yeah.
You just saw everything a mile coming, like from like a baseball coming out from like left field kind of thing. It's like you just see everything coming. Really,
It's been done before. We were predicting what was going to happen. And it was just
And-
kind of a letdown.
so just the broader sense of the storytelling I thought was lacking.
yeah,
know,
I agree with
so-
that.
But at least we're consistent with so far 2 thrillers.
Yeah.
Right.
But basically, I took this movie because I wanted to see Michael Ironside. That's really it.
I hate to break it to you, but it's from what I've gathered from other friends of mine who've told, it seems as though people watching movies just to see the actors is
Yeah.
almost a bygone era. Now it's about seeing the franchise.
Right.
Yeah. So I hate to break it to you.
I know, I hear you.
But at the same time, Michael Ironside.
Yeah,
all right,
I mean, how
see
can you
your
go
point.
wrong? How
I
can
see.
you-
Well, we did now, but yeah.
Well,
I
he
think
was
it
one
was
of the he was the best element of the movie.
I think
Well,
the
yeah.
best I've seen him in was Starship Troopers. And even though that wasn't the greatest of the movies
Yeah.
either, but it did gain a cult following, Starship Troopers.
Yeah, that it did. And you know what? His character, although he could have easily been a complete villain, the fact that he was such a hard-ass good guy,
yeah.
In a way, it made his character, in a strange way, endearing.
In a way.
You're right.
And you kind of felt bad for him with missing an arm and all.
And also that what happened to him towards the end of his character's run.
Oh God, yeah.
You know, it's like it had an element of tragedy.
Oh sure.
It's like, okay, we didn't waste him, but you know, it was like you felt bad what happened to him.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, he went out in a blaze of glory.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you know what you have to do, Rico.
Yeah. Wish we could review that right now. That's.
Starship Troopers.
Yeah,
oh, yeah.
yeah.
Well, we could have. Yeah. The whole.
could-
And how many spin-offs? How many
They
sequels?
came
did
out
that?
like 4 sequels.
They came out with 3 sequels. They had a couple of animation
couple video
movies.
games too, right? And
Oh damn! Yeah.
cartoon
Cult following.
series.
Yeah.
I think with Starship Troopers 2, I did not see.
I didn't see the sequels either.
Starship Troopers I saw because it had the character Johnny Rico.
Yeah. It's Casper Van Dien.
Yeah. Casper
Yeah.
Van Dien.
Who I haven't seen him in anything really notable.
Yeah. You know what? In terms of notable things that I've seen him in, was the first Starship Troopers, the only Starship Troopers that I ever saw, and one of the Tim Burton movies, Sleepy Hollow.
Oh yeah, he had a very small part in that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I liked
Great
his
movie.
turn in that. Yeah, I liked it. Yeah. And he had, even though he had a bit role, it was a Tim Burton movie.
Oh, yeah.
Thank goodness for him, he was in a Tim Burton movie.
Sure.
And in the role that he did, I liked his
Wasn't
role.
he also Tarzan or in the
Yes,
Jungle Book?
he was in a Tarzan movie, a made-to-video
Yeah,
Tarzan
I remember that from the late '90s, right? Weird.
Yeah, right.
No.
Okay, so
Yeah.
me personally, this could just go totally over my radar.
Over your radar, Matt.
It was just so screwed up.
Yeah.
I do not recommend it.
Don't recommend it. All right, pass.
And I'm being kind as possible about this one.
If
so,
you
know.
are a die-hard Michael Ironside fan, I say check it out. But other than that, there's
Yeah,
really
right.
no point, sadly.
Yeah, I'm just leaving out everything that I texted you about this movie.
Yeah.
Because, you know, we're, on the one hand, we want to keep everything fairly PG-13 rated.
Yes.
Because I just crossed the border from PG to PG-13, but
That's fine.
that's by 80s standards.
I think
so.
no, PG-13 is allowed. You're allowed ass. You're allowed one shit.
Which you just used.
Yes, I used my shit for the show.
You just used your card there.
There's been a lot worse on this show.
Oh, okay.
Back in the heyday of Under the Radar.
Right. But I'm trying to rein it in because, you know, that's
Yeah.
just me. You know, a public forum, so, you know, I'm just
okay.
playing it safe, as it were.
It's fine. We're all adults here.
Yes.
All right, guys. So we've got about a few more minutes for the next movie.
Which is all we need, really.
Yeah. We've got the World War II drama/action film called The Battle of the Bulge, Wonderland. And Matt, what did you think of this? Basically, it's like the final battle between the American soldiers against the Germans at the Battle of the Bulge, trying to make one last push for victory on Christmas Day 1944.
For those not familiar with history, Battle of the Bulge refers to a place. It has nothing to do with anything diet related. Because that was my first instinct when I saw the Battle of the Bulge.
Yes.
And Wonderland. I was thinking, okay, it's a health movie.
Yeah.
But upon further inspection, historical drama. Oh,
Yes.
Battle of the Bulge. Oh, okay.
Yes,
All right.
yes.
So,
Matt,
yeah.
what do you think? World War II.
As much as I like for the history movies, I mean, I've seen a lot of history war movies, but this one, I was about.
Yeah.
No?
It was. I mean,
Didn't do anything for you?
it didn't do it. I mean, I know with the historical moments for what is to hold off the German troops, but I mean, this one didn't really speak. This one didn't really stand out. Not like how Dunkirk
I was going to say Dunkirk.
Yeah, that's
I
a
mean,
great movie.
freaking, yeah.
But you know, the sound design in Wonderland was pretty good. Actually, it reminded me of Saving Private Ryan in some parts, but you can't really duplicate Saving Private Ryan.
No. In
No.
fact, I don't want anybody to duplicate Saving Private Ryan in any shape, especially that opening scene with the Battle of
Oh
Normandy.
my
No.
That is a brilliant scene. It's legendary.
Yeah, it's like, horrific, so horrific that I'm like, I don't want to see anything like that again. And that's I can take Death Note, and even then I don't want to see anything like that.
Yeah.
But as far as this one, Battle of the Bulge, Wonderland, that's WWUND.
Yes.
The whole German thing.
Wonder. I know.
The only thing I kind of liked was that imagery or that subplot with the cross and the Bible kind of thing between the American soldier and the German soldier.
That was kind of a good connector.
That was like the one thing I liked. And
Right.
I don't mind movies where you don't connect with the characters. In fact, I thought Dunkirk did a fabulously brilliant job with that. As a matter of fact, I have this almost sick hobby of reading bad reviews of movies. Like Dunkirk, I read the bad reviews, and the majority of them, either involve like saying how the movie was like historically inaccurate or wrong kinds of places, but also one of the biggest complaints about Dunkirk was that there was no emotional connection with any of the characters, no backstory. You can't connect. And I'm like, that's the point.
Right.
So, Christopher Nolan did such a brilliant job of introducing a new kind of war movie where you don't connect with anybody. You're just barely keeping up with what's going on, which is the experience that the characters in the movie were having. You're barely keeping up with what's going on.
With Dunkirk, it was all about atmosphere. Like,
right.
Dunkirk was all about the event that happened at Dunkirk. It had nothing to do with the actor drama
Not at all.
or anything.
There was
It
no
just-
main characters
It was
at all.
Dunkirk, all about Dunkirk.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And that's how
It was all about the beach, the water, and everything like surrounding the soldiers. But the soldiers were secondary. Mm-hmm. So.
Yeah, and as the viewer, you're just barely keeping up with the experience. I mean, that's what Nolan had in mind with Memento. Mm-hmm. You're basically experiencing what the character is going through.
Yeah.
Especially with the whole the brain damage thing.
Right.
But
That's a great movie, man.
oh yeah, brilliant movie. I love Christopher Nolan, my favorite contemporary filmmaker.
Nice.
And also, but going back to this one, Wonderland, Battle of the Bulge. There was an attempt at making a connection with the characters, like the one character with the cross and the Bible and so forth. I get that, but it didn't. I'm sorry, it didn't work for me.
Didn't work for you. It was kind of cliche.
Yeah, cliche, also kind of obvious.
And they use the exact same plot device where in Saving Private Ryan, where they spare the German soldier, and he comes out later on.
Yeah, I'm like, okay, here we go.
Yeah.
As soon as he was spared, I'm like, okay, let's see him come back at the end.
Yeah, and he did.
And I forgot about that was used in Saving Private Ryan. But it's like, because I remember, the Battle of Normandy and, Tom Hanks and then Matt Damon.
Yeah.
But I forgot about that plot device.
They used it in the same movie.
But even then, even though I didn't remember that it was the same plot device from Saving Private Ryan, it just still seemed obvious. It's like, okay, 30 minutes left. They spare the German soldier. Let's just see how that's going to show up at the end.
Right.
To save the day, potentially. I was like, okay. So, it just seemed obvious, even without, knowing, with Private Ryan.
Right.
So
Matt, final thoughts on Wonderland?
Not my best of all the World War II movies.
Yeah.
I would say if you're a historian, then go see it.
Right.
But if it's not like one of your tops, I would definitely say see Schindler's List, see Dunkirk, see Saving Private Ryan, even see World War II in color, which has all.
Yeah, or Band of Brothers.
Band of Brothers,
Great show.
Winds of War.
Yeah. Cool.
Similar to what Matt said, although me personally, I would place a stronger emphasis on Dunkirk because, I mean, I felt that was a fairly innovative take on a war movie. So I can't recommend Dunkirk enough. I mean, we're just kind of shifting gears from Wonderland to Dunkirk.
So much
but thank you
better.
for that, Matt. Because I was thinking about Dunkirk the whole time, and I'm like, I'm glad you stepped foot forward with that one. But yeah, this movie, Wonderland, way over my radar. I'm sorry.
Gotcha.
Way past it.
I say put it as a history lesson in your high school.
Yeah.
That's something to.
Yeah, like one of those required classroom movie kind of things,
I would say a classroom movie review in history.
Yeah.
I would put that on.
Yeah.
That's for teachers to do. I will recommend for teachers to put Battle of the Bulge Wonderland as a movie review, as a report to do for school.
That's
Or as
reasonable. That's reasonable.
an option.
As an option.
Or if there's a Tom Berenger class offered.
No, actually,
Yeah, right?
Actually, because we've been hearing more and it's right, in most in schools that there's so many battles that Dunkirk, the Battle of Normandy, they've all been popular because they're very, very historic.
Yeah.
But a lot of these other, like these small battles, are also historic as well. But we just forget about them. That this is easy to put these in place. Right. So that's why this would be perfect to learn in school.
Agreed. Totally.
Yeah, especially on that particular battle, the Battle of the Bulge.
Yeah, seriously. And it's not that violent too, so it would be good for kids to see. Well, high school kids maybe.
Well, we're actually underestimating what younger kids can do.
That's a good point.
Have you seen the video games the younger kids are
Call of
playing
Duty,
nowadays? And
yeah.
Even that when we talked about Operation Finale.
Yeah, a good movie.
It was a good movie. It was a popular operation about getting. What's his name?
Heitzman? Eidelman?
Eidelman,
the Nazi. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Hey guys, so we only have a few minutes, but Robin, did you have something up your sleeve today?
Well, let's see. My usual promotion, RobinChanning.com.
No. I meant maybe a little.
Oh, we have time for that right now?
5 minutes, maybe.
Okay, yeah. You know what? I was actually hesitant about doing this, but yeah, I have here a replica Death Note.
Do not put my name in it.
Oh, yeah. I'm gonna. We
I
have
don't want
time.
to touch it.
Yeah, I know, right? I mean, having seen the movie, you're like, okay, I'm not touching that sucker. But for the purposes of a demonstration, I have had this idea in mind for years and years. I mean, Death Note first came out in like 07, 08, thereabouts.
Yeah.
And I was so excited when on Cartoon Network the first episode of Death Note aired, the English dub. I was like, wow, they're actually bringing it stateside?
Cool.
With an English dub, no less? I was like, you should watch it, by the way.
Yeah. I'd love to compare it to the...
Yeah, oh my God, yeah, especially the first 2 episodes. Oh, okay, if they don't hook you, nothing else will.
Nice.
All right, so anyway, as a magician and a mentalist, I keep trying to come up with as much of what I like to think is my own material as possible. And sometimes I go down some really dark rabbit holes, and this is one of the absolute darkest one I've ever come across.
Okay.
So, to that end, let me set the stage a little bit. Now, this is an app. You see how it says beep here? Mm-hmm. Touch the screen, it goes beep.
All right.
Matt, this is for you to hold off to your side over here.
Okay.
I am going to invite you, Randy,
Yes.
to simulate the role of Light Turner and basically be a murderer.
Oh, great. Thank you.
Because I'm going to allow you to simulate my murder.
Uh-oh. I'm scared.
I'm
really scared right now.
I know, right? Because this is a replica Death Note with the rules and everything, I'm not going to ask you to waste any of the paper that's in here.
All right.
Because anything you write will be a permanent part of it. Mm-hmm. To that end, the compromise that I have devised over the years is a Post-it, which in turn sets up a nice little plot device.
All right.
The idea is that you will use this Sharpie to write my name on here.
All right.
By the way, thank goodness Robin Channing is my stage name. So not my real name. Okay, that's a public confession right there. So, okay, I'm screwed. I just let one cat out of the bag. But I just wanted to cover my base here because I'm just that superstitious about it. Even though I'm very logic-based, I do have an element of superstition that I cannot ignore.
So if Robin Channing is written down on that, you won't die.
And also, it's on a Post-it, too.
Right.
So here's what's going to happen.
All right.
I'm going to ask you to write in a moment, ask you to write my name here.
Okay.
All right. And Matt, how are you at taking pulses?
I could do this.
All right, so here's what's going to happen. I need you to place your left hand on my wrist, okay? Not just the finger, the both fingers, okay? Go ahead. And what you should be able to feel is my pulse. Do you feel a pulse?
Yes, I do.
For every beat of my pulse that you feel, your right hand will tap that app.
Watch out.
All right, watch out. Go ahead. Very good. Oh, and by the way, whatever you do, don't do this. Don't ever do that, for obvious reasons.
Yes, sounds bad.
All right. So here's what's going to happen. You're going to monitor my pulse, and you're going to allow my pulse to be relayed to everybody.
Okay.
All right, so go ahead. Just get your left-handed position. Okay? All right? All right. Go ahead. Right. And also, at a moment of your determination, Randy, after you write my name and events take place, what I want you to do is, at a moment of your choosing, remove the Post-it with my name from the notebook.
Okay.
All right?
So first I'll write your name.
Okay. Okay. And we know how this works. 40 seconds.
All right. Your name is written down.
Okay. All right.
Now.
I can't believe I'm actually doing this. Locks up here. Locks up. Okay.
Do you want me to remove the Post-it?
Oh, at a moment of your choosing. Wait.
Okay.
Wait.
Okay, I'm going to remove it. Post-it removed.
Not yet. Not yet.
Oh, it's removed.
I'll put it back in.
Put it back in.
You're going to see.
Too
because
soon.
I'm going to simulate my death here. Whenever you want, Randy.
Oh, sure. Okay.
I know, right? And that is the basic demonstration.
Okay. You all right?
Kind of freaky, wasn't it?
Little for a while there.
Yeah, right. I mean, I was like, whenever you want. You know, I know you were kind of overcoming the moment,
I
but
should have just put the beep into so beep.
that's what I wanted you to avoid because I didn't want it to be that authentic.
Okay.
But yeah, that was my first attempt at this kind of effect. And
All right.
yeah, okay. What do you think? Should you think if I should do a full version of it in a stage show? What do you think?
You could fine tune it a little. Yeah.
Yeah, right?
I liked it.
I mean, I actually could be dead longer than that.
Okay.
Which, I didn't want to freak you out too much.
No, it's okay.
Yeah, okay, just being dead that much, I think, so that's I just wanted to toss the idea. The idea came literally like a few hours ago, just to do this whole thing with the.
I like the concept. It's very, very macabre, very freaky,
Yeah.
very dark.
Halloween's coming up later this month anyway, so
Yes,
why
yes.
not? Okay, so we
Cool.
got our freak on with that. Oh, thank goodness for No, you spelled it correctly. Okay.
I just have a bad handwriting.
With the G looked like an F, but I was like,
Okay.
that would have made me feel comfortable.
Yeah.
Okay,
All right.
but, okay, so there it is, and we can. Oh yeah, we can cross this. Oh, by the way, I should have said remove it and destroy it because we don't want
Burn it.
we don't want that going back in here.
No.
All right. So there it is.
So guys, we only have like a minute left. Matt, is there anything that's coming out soon in theaters that you're looking forward to?
Well, definitely Venom.
Oh, I'm gonna miss out on the opening night on that one.
Oh.
Darn it, son of a.
Yeah.
But also, I'm looking forward to Aquaman.
Nice, nice.
And right now, that's about it.
That's about it. Okay, some good ones right there.
Well, New York Comic Con's coming up. That's why I'm
next
forced to miss it.
weekend.
Yeah. This coming freaking Thursday. I'll be there in case anybody wants to show up and hook up with me and so forth.
I'll be there too, Friday and Sunday.
Yeah, I'm there all 4 days, so look for me. Go
Nice,
ahead,
nice.
Just don't
It's going to
stalk me.
be interesting panels there.
Yeah.
Definitely some great guests. A Boy Meets World reunion.
Boy Meets World, Batman the animated series. There's a
Yeah, that's
panel
right. Yeah,
for that.
Will Friedel's there. So. Yeah.
Wolf Friedel, Ben Savage, and Danielle Fishel.
Oh, nice.
That's the Friday afternoon. I'm going to that. I'm going to try to, depending on the lines. And
Well, even then, with the lines, just get in there really bloody early.
Yeah.
Because an hour early is actually way too late.
right.
Yeah.
So, Robin, do you have anything you want to plug?
As far as movies is concerned, yeah, Venom, I want to watch that, but it's going to have to come after Comic-Con, unfortunately. And let's see. Bumblebee, I'm looking forward to. And the more I'm seeing the trailers, the more I'm seeing a G1 Transformers look to them. Yes, I'm getting my nerd on with that one. I'm like,
Nice.
I can't wait for that. It's like a freaking Transformers video game being brought to life. I'm like, I'm so down with this.
Nice.
And let's see.
Any shows coming? Anything you want to promote?
Well, my usual shtick. Whenever I happen to be booked at LOL Comedy Club, check me out. I'm also available for private parties and other social engagements. So go ahead, book me.
Nice. And Matt, anything?
Oh, what we're going to be coming out soon with our new project, hopefully coming into the
Hopefully
works.
coming soon. Yes.
Nostalgia Time.
Okay, there it is. A
right,
potential show hosted by Mr. Matt Haberman.
Oh, nostalgia. Oh, keep me in the loop with that one.
Yeah. It's in the
right.
very early stages, but it's looking good.
All right.
So, guys, that was our film review segment. I want to thank Robin Channing, Matt
Okay.
Haberman. Thank you, gentlemen. Awesome as always.
All right.
And right now, we're going to have a short commercial break with our sponsor. And when we come back, I will be interviewing actor, martial artist David Sakurai of the new horror thriller Housewife, coming out October 2nd on video on demand, digital, and DVD. Here it is.
David, how are you today?
Hey, Randy, how you doing?
I'm good. Thanks for taking the time today.
Yeah, great meeting you.
Yeah. So I saw the movie a few nights ago. Very interesting, very weird. How did you get involved with the project?
How did I get involved with the project? I met John Erpnell at Fantastic Film Festival in 2015. He was there with his previous film, Baskin.
Okay.
And I was there with a movie called Life of the Fox Fairy. We didn't catch each other's movies at the festival, but we shared a cab ride to the airport. And then we connected about everything but movies, our fascination about martial arts and UFC and whatnot. And then I caught his movie immediately later on, and he also saw my film at a different festival that he was going to. And he wrote me, he's like, I can't believe that you're the same guy in this movie. and I told him, I can't believe you did Basket. Anyway, let's keep in touch, and I think it was only like 6 months later or something like that. He contacts me and he says, "Yep, I'm developing this project and I have this character in mind. He's devilish and manipulative and it's kind of great." I was like, wait a minute. Devilish, manipulative, yes, and I have you in mind. Your face keeps popping up. Great. All right.
All right.
But, and I said, whatever you have in mind, I want to work with you. Let's make it work. Let's make it happen. I want to do it. I love this work, and as a filmmaker, and I really thought it was very fascinating, unique voice. So after that, he pitched me the film, and then a year after that, we were standing on set in Istanbul, and he had created this great story.
Nice. So, did you do any special preparation for the role?
Yeah. Of course, going into it, there were elements that I had to do some research on, whether it was modern day teachers or gurus or self-help coaches, whatnot, or teachers from the past, Eastern mysticism and stuff like that. But it really was about this character that we had to find something that made it just a little bit different and otherworldly, so it didn't become the regular TED Talk kind of scene.
Okay.
So, the approach that I had in heart going into it with this guy was he has to be like a modern day rock star, like a corporate rock star.
Like a Tony Robbins type. That's how I felt it came across.
Yeah, it came from Tony Robbins. Yeah. I didn't see any from Robbins when I did my research, but of course I know, and that's the platform. But I thought we got to find something else that just makes him a little bit otherworldly, and that's why him just dancing into the stage and treating it as a concert.
Mm-hmm.
That was just a different approach, right?
Yeah. No, it was very well done. So, are you a big horror buff?
I grew up. I'm a child going from the '80s, growing up in the '80s, and of course I was extremely fascinated by horror, especially from that time. Nightmare on Elm Street is still one of my favorite movies.
Nice.
Nightmare on Elm Street 3, actually, Dream Warriors, is one of my favorite genres. Yeah, of course. I love all kinds of movies, but horror is something that I always be fascinated by. But this is actually my first, if you will, horror movie.
Right.
I don't consider it a horror movie myself. I consider it a love story.
Okay.
That's how I read it, and that's what I went, what I felt we were doing at the time. But of course, I'm thrilled and honored to have been working within that genre and in the best hands,
Mm-hmm. Nice. Now, talk a little bit about your martial arts background. I know there was one scene in the film towards the beginning where it looked like you were doing Tai Chi.
Yeah. Well, I grew up with, martial art was just part of the household. It was part of my upbringing. It was something that's always been part of my life. It was not necessarily something that I wanted to put into this project, because I've been finding it very liberating for the last couple of years to be able to do projects that hasn't involved martial arts. I'm a big martial arts aficionado, but anyway, John is also a huge martial arts aficionado. He's a really he's actually a great martial artist.
Oh, okay.
So I think it also stems from his fascination by it, and then also adding to the mysticism of the character, because I thought it'd be interesting. We don't dive into it in the movie, but my backstory for the character was that he practiced a lot of chi exercises.
Yeah.
Qigong, practice with inner chi.
Mm-hmm.
And when you do that, it can have a do it to have a positive effect on the body, but practicing it the wrong way or overdoing it can also have some internal damages, and that's why we try to make my hair more grayish. I wanted to have it look like it had an effect, all that chi practice and whatnot. It's never explained in the film, but that was a little detail, and that's why I thought it was cool that he had that scene where he's prepping and doing his chi exercise,
So I'm curious, what were some challenges you faced on set?
Sorry?
What were some challenges you faced on set?
To be honest, it was a very lively set. The crew was very very high spirited, and the cast as well. Clementine as our lead, she really kept up a great mood and spirit on set. No matter how rough the scenes were, she was really she was really great, just great energy, personality just to be around. So it was very light, and some of the challenges was especially the third act of the movie was rough to do. But filming it, we had to keep it light because there were so many children around, right? And they were just excited about being in a movie, and and we had to really show them okay, look at this. This is not a real whatever.
So you use children for the minions, basically.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And it was great, so we tried to joke around with what we're doing while they were there. And of course, some of the rougher scenes, the children weren't there for, so we tried, But so they only saw me being very manipulative towards Clementine's character And then they thought it was hilarious, you know, trying to also keep it light around them, you know, and then I'll get that mean face and they would laugh. And then of course when we had to do the rough scene, the kids would be off, and we would get into that, and that was also a challenge to do.
Okay.
That's when I personally realized, all right, yeah, now, okay, we're in this universe. Okay, everything goes here.
And I'm sure when they grow up, they'll look back at the film and they'll laugh too. Yeah.
I think so. They're gonna be, oh my god, they're gonna be like,
yeah.
That's what we were there for. You know, it's really great. Really great.
Yeah.
John is just he keeps a great set and atmosphere on set as well. So.
Nice. Now I'm curious.
We have about a minute left.
Okay. So I'm curious, who are some of your inspirations, acting, martial artist wise? Who have influenced your craft?
To this day, there's too many I can name, but there's one that I have to name, and that is Brandon Lee.
Mm. Oh, Brandon Lee, yeah.
Because he had a similar background like me, being part Asian and part of the Western world as well. You know, and something I connected very much with it. You know, growing up, seeing his films, and especially also having the martial arts background that he was carrying with him, and that was also part of his childhood growing up. Okay. But really, with my fascination was with him as an actor, seeing how he went from that world of action movies, had to take those steps, and then really, you know, went his own path with The Crow and the character that he created there.
Great
and
movie.
I think to this day, it's still one of those movies that I watch religiously every year just to get inspired.
Nice.
And you know, he has been and still is a huge inspiration of me.
Awesome.
Yeah, that's I have to name him. But there are a lot of other people as well.
Cool. Well,
The Crow.
Well, I could totally see you as the next Crow. That would be amazing.
Yeah,
you know?
I think we should leave it as Brandon Lee, but I'd love to do something in that genre.
Right. Well, David, I want to thank you for your time today. The film is Housewife. It's interesting. It's dark. It's very well acted. And I just also I wanted to extend an invitation to you if you're ever in New York. We have our studio in Long Island. If you're ever in the area, we'd love to have you come on by for an in-person interview if you're available.
Absolutely.
Great.
Absolutely. Love to.
Awesome. Well, David, thanks again.
Thanks for the support. I hope you enjoyed the movie. And,
yeah.
I hope people are curious about what it's about now. I'm thrilled to be a part of this.
Awesome.
This film, and I think audiences are going to be in for a ride as well.
Nice. Well, thanks again, and we'll talk soon. Thanks again.
Have a great day.
You too.
And that's our show, guys. Thank you so much for watching. I want to thank my guests today, Matt Haberman, Robin Channing, of course. Gentlemen, thank you.
All right.
And, of course, my interviewee, David Sakurai. It was a great show. And I just want to plug some upcoming Magnitude events. We've got the Over 50 Fair, which is actually happening right now at the Hilton Long Island in Huntington, New York. And if you want more information, it's over50fair.com. Also coming up on October 26th through the 28th is the New Life Expo at the New Yorker Hotel in New York City. Also for information, newlifeexpo.com. And lastly, on November 15th, the Boom Business Expo at the Huntington Hilton, 3 o'clock to 8 o'clock p.m. For more information on that, go to boombiznet.com. And I want to thank everyone for watching today. I've been your host, Randy Unger, and this is Unger the Radar. We'll see you next week. Take care, guys.
All right, cheers.
Peace. Under the Radar is all new next week at 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time with more movie reviews and interviews on Strong Island Radio and Television. Stay tuned. We'll see you next week.